This week in auto history, ladies and gentlemen.
So this week in 1914, Irwin Cannonball Baker began his record-setting cross-continental motorcycle trip. After this trip, he received the nickname Cannonball by a New York News reporter who compared him with the Cannonball train. Baker had set 143 driving records from the 1910s to the 1930s, going coast to coast in the United States. The first one, he did it in 11 days in an Indian motorcycle in 1914. And you got to remember, that's before roads were as advanced as they are today. And then the next time he did it, he did 11 days and 7 hours in a Stutz Bearcat, and then the following year he drove a Cadillac 8 Roadster from Los Angeles to Times Square in 7 days and 11 hours and 52 minutes.
You bet.
While accompanied by an Indianapolis motor newspaper reporter. In 1967, Don Perdome, who was then 26, popularly known as the Snake, drove a modified Ford-powered dragster to become the first dragster to run the quarter mile in less than 7 seconds, and he reached 226 miles per hour at the NHRA World Series. And I say that because it's kind of cool. That's the what was called the 427 Cammer with a blower and stuff on it, and then drag racing had evolved into all of this Hemi stuff with Keith Black and stuff, but back in the early days, they were running some different engines. In 1980, this week, 13-year-old Carrie Leitner of Fair Oaks, California, was walking along a quiet road on her way to a church carnival when a car swerved out of control, striking her and killing her. Carrie's tragic death compelled her mother, Candy Leitner, to found the organization called Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, MAD, which would grow into one of the country's most influential nonprofit organizations. In 1984, New Jersey rocker Bruce Springsteen released the song Pink Cadillac as the B-side on Dancing in the Dark, which will become the first and biggest hit single off the Born in USA best-selling album of his career. And then in 1987, the late Davey Allison recorded his first NASCAR Cup victory at the Talladega Motor Speedway in Alabama, driving his famous Haviland Ford Thunderbird. In the same race, his dad, driving the Miller Lite Buick, went airborne and almost up into the stands. And you could see it ripped this big old section of the fencing down. And it was after that accident that NASCAR said, it's time to put restrictor plates on all cars, trying to slow them down because they were pushing 210, 215 miles an hour at the time. So now they kind of keep them under 200.
Well, I will tell you that I have been to Talladega several times. It's a massive track, and the banking is massive as well. So it's very easy for a car to do that. From what rumor has it that you have to do at least 100 miles an hour on the track to keep the car up there in the banking. But I will tell you, the first one I went to, I sat in turn 4, and I sat down relatively close to the fence. And those cars at 200 miles an hour and going by you in that turn, headed into the dogleg down there, I will tell you that you cannot make out the number on the side of the car. You can't see it. Your eyes can't keep up with it. It's moving so fast. And that was something that was kind of shaking, earth-shattering for me personally. I'd never seen that up close. But, man, I'm telling you what, 200 miles an hour is really fast when it's going by you from left to right.
Yeah, and when they do the parade laps and they have the big semi-trucks, you notice they don't get up on that banking because they can't do that speed.
They can't stay up there.
Exactly, so they do it on the flat part.
So I can only imagine. And I don't know if it was ever found out what exactly happened to the car, but the back end of the car lifted off the ground. Something broke. I don't know whether it was the engine, the drive shaft, something on the car broke, and it lifted the back end off of it, went out of control, air got under it, and into the fence it went. It was scary. You can still see it on YouTube. All right, thank you, sir. Time now for our headlines this